Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is That Stupid Podcast. I'm Rev again here.
I'm RJ.
It is Friday, May 23rd, 2014. It is Best of Day, and we're doing Best of what?
Today we're doing the best of music and bands / artists / things. So
it's all about music today. So for those who don't follow at Humpplay, by the way, on Twitter, or me on Twitter for that matter, because I post them in two places. Every Wednesday I like to do a little bit of music because I'm an old school. I was a DJ. I've been in like 4 or 5 different bands. I'm a huge audiophile. I love music. So when
he loves,
we were talking about what are we gonna do for best of. I was like, let's talk about our favorite musicians.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here for. I'm gonna kick us off. And in no particular order, these are our top 5. I'm going to start out with Ray Charles.
Really?
I know. People are going to like,
is Georgia
what?
On your mind?
Georgia's on my mind. Hit the Road Jack.
I mean, he's got some great, amazing hits. There's no question about it.
The man, here's why. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. And it's not just because his music's amazing. It's not just... It is amazing, by the way. And it's not just because he's blind.
Well, although he did defy tons of adversity.
Yes. It's because he is one of the first, actually he's the first, and not just the first black musician, but he was the first artist really to own his own music.
That's right. That was the one thing that he required for
Absolutely. He would not cut any records unless he
had the rights.
Full ownership, all rights to the music.
And I think that's where the most of his fortune came from after everything happened.
Absolutely.
Because whenever Pepsi, let's talk about the Pepsi commercials.
Oh
Man,
my
he
God.
did a huge deal with Pepsi.
Tons of Pepsi commercials. Yeah. But the thing is, when Ray Charles was up and coming, and you know, this is now 60
radio
plus years ago,
screwed you harder than they do now.
Yeah,
they owned everything.
They owned everything. You just
here's your $5. Get out.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons. I mean, first of all, just musically, he's made a huge contribution to the music industry, but also professionally, he made, I think, the single largest contribution because if in that time frame, because this is, again, we're talking about 60 plus years ago.
Yeah,
this was not easy for a black man to professionally do much,
let alone
anything.
Change it for every other artist.
Right. So this was huge, and for that, he's definitely at the top of my absolute music. Plus, I mean, the man's got a hell of an album collection.
Absolutely.
So Ray Charles, that's where I'm going to start this list.
All right, so
lay it on me.
I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to go ahead and give you Dong Lover, one of my favorites, Childish Gambino. As far as I'm concerned, he is the #1 in the hip hop world at the moment, and since probably like 2007, 2008. I own every single one of his mixtapes, which I prefer to his actual cut albums, such as Camp, Because the Internet, etc. Now, he did do a mixtape called Royalty that I'm absolutely in love with, and he did an EP between Camp and Because the Internet that I'm also in love with. The guy comes out with new material on the constant. He is the reason that in the rap game, they've actually started pulling things from indie music, from old songs. I'm not saying that he's the reason for the sample, but this guy is the reason for the sample. Sampling outside of your comfort zone and not just going for things that would be generic. Oh, well, you know, this will sell really well, or this sounds good. He's going crazy with some of the stuff he does. Now, I'm not going to say that his newer stuff is great. I've listened to Because the Internet probably 5 times, and it's a mess of an album. But you're not going to knock it out of the park every single time. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to disagree with me that that's not a great hip-hop album.
And that has... Everybody's got their own taste and everything anyway, so...
But the exact fact that he exists, that to me is hip-hop. That is the difference between hip-hop and rap.
Okay.
He's putting the whole energy and the feeling behind it, and I cannot tell you how much I love his music.
I like it.
So what else do you got? What's your next one?
All right. Well, I'm going to go old again for just a moment, and people are going to listen to this, and they're going to go, oh... But Elvis Presley's on my list.
Oh, yeah.
The King. I love the King.
You want a little hunk and burning love from him? Is that what it is?
Since my baby left me. Look, Elvis Presley, I mean, he's not my absolute favorite. He's definitely in my top 5, though, which is obviously why we're talking about him. He's the king of rock and roll for a couple of reasons. You think rock and roll...
You think Elvis Presley.
You can't not think Elvis Presley.
You think blues. I also think Elvis Presley. You think jazz a little bit. You think a little bit of Elvis Presley.
Yeah. And it has a lot to do with the fact that his songs have been covered, remade, remixed.
By everyone.
Everyone.
Absolutely. Even The Rock. The Rock is a huge Elvis Presley fan.
So Elvis Presley, for his contributions to the music industry, not his contributions to Las Vegas so much.
What about his contributions to the acting world for being a musician? I'm not gonna say his movies were good because they weren't.
They weren't.
But at the same time, opening that door, which was normally
It did a little bit.
You know,
Yeah, it did a little bit.
him, Sinatra, and all that stuff leading.
Yeah.
leading
Well,
the way
you get
there.
into Sinatra, you're getting into Rat Pack, and that's a whole.
That is a whole
I mean,
different situation.
Yeah. But so I mean, you think of Elvis Presley, and you've got, again, you mentioned bluesy type songs. You know, you've got Jailhouse Rock, you've got Blue Suede Shoes, you've got a lot of really good songs that just either have a nice dance beat to them or have been remastered into something else, into new songs, and have been remade, and just people take influence from Elvis Presley so much.
I agree.
So he's for me, it's all about the Elvis. It's
Okay.
all about Elvis.
Well, I guess I'm going to go with my next one.
All right.
And it is a band that for me has defied genre, defied ages, defied years, defied pretty much everything the record industry has ever said. You can't do this. And that's the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I do love the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
They do not have 2 CDs, as far as I'm concerned, 2 albums that sound alike. They just don't.
That's true.
You want to talk about a band who's kept it fresh for, I want to say, God, I guess over 30 years at this point.
The first time, and they'd been around even a little while before this,
Mm-hmm.
but the first time I remember hearing the Red Hot Chili Peppers was in the late 80s, 1989.
That's right, yeah. When
was
what was the first one they did? It was on Guitar Hero, and I can't remember the name of it to save my life because I didn't even know it was a Red Hot Chili Peppers track until I played it. Yeah. So, and I'm a huge fan of them, and I think as far as being a band that is original and making music
No,
art,
absolutely.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
And Flea's not a bad actor,
No,
actually.
give me the money, Lebowski. We cut off your Johnson.
And you remember when he and Anthony Kiedis both, they were in that movie with Charlie Sheen
Yes.
and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Absolutely.
What was the movie?
I
The Runaway,
can't-
The Getaway,
Yeah,
something like
it's
that?
I want to say it was
The Getaway?
I think it was the
Runaway?
Getaway. I
Yeah.
think it was the Getaway where he
Driving
kidnaps
that
the
red
rich girl.
Beamer? Yeah. And they were the 2 redneck dudes in the big Ford Bronco, and
Yep.
they flipped it on the interstate. God, that was hilarious.
Good stuff.
We're going to totally get him, bro.
Oh, 90s movies.
Oh, God, it's such a good flick.
All right, what do you got for your third one?
All right. I did want to mention one thing about the Red Hot Chili Peppers first. Under the Bridge, fantastic song.
Yes.
Just wanted to say that. My next one on my list is the Sex Pistols.
All right. Why the Sex Pistols? And now that's not to say I don't like them. I'm just curious.
Well, I was having a hard time thinking about different genres. And, one of the genres that changed and influenced me, and punk is one of them. And, I had guys like Johnny Rotten running through my head,
Yep.
the Ramones, and a lot of different bands, but I kept coming back to the Sex Pistols.
Okay. Is it because they had the most hits, or
It's probably a little bit of that, probably, and it may just be personal reflection. I mean, there are, we think about songs that aren't Sex Pistols for a minute that pop in your head, but I just kept coming back to Sex Pistols every time. I mean, and
Well,
I
when
had a
you-
lot of different bands.
when
but
I think punk-
when I think punk in the late 70s, early 80s, I think Sex Pistols.
I think 2 bands. I think the Ramones and the Sex Pistols, and they're just that's just how it is.
So that was for me, and it was a hard one. I mean, because I don't want to be sedated. It's a great song.
It is.
Speaking of the Ramones for a minute, but I just.
But London Calling, is it London Calling?
London Calling was the Clash.
That's
another.
that's the Clash, isn't it? Jesus.
The Clash is still another good. I mean,
That's my problem. Is when
I know.
all those punk bands released, you had a lot of
for
good
me,
punk bands.
right? So for me, when I was trying to think, and London Calling, you're right, it's a fantastic freaking
Yes.
song. And that was the thing. It was trying to come up with, and I just, even the name, the Sex Pistols, just
that
screams punk.
punk.
So for me, that's what it was about. And growing up listening to that was just kind of it for me. So.
Well, that's funny because my next one is pop punk. I guess
Okay.
somebody who learned a lot from
Yeah.
these previous bands, and you can all deny me out there and whatever you want to, but I do consider that pop punk to be an actual genre.
It's a genre. Yeah.
Now, another band who has kind of changed their sound and done a lot of stuff that I enjoy, which I do feel that they made the pop punk genre what it is, would be Fall Out Boy. Fall Out
Oh,
Boy
wow.
has made a lot of CDs, and for a band that everybody just did nothing but berate and beat down, they've sold so many albums and become hugely famous.
There's one Fall Out Boy I actually really do like. One Fall Out Boy track I really do like.
Okay.
It was one they collaborated with John Mayer on, the remake
Thriller.
of Beat It. No, Beat It.
Oh, Beat It, okay, because they did,
Really?
yeah.
Where John, that was when I learned that
John Mayer plays drums?
John Mayer played guitar like a
yes,
madman.
yes.
He does the freaking solo.
The Eddie Van Halen solo
Yeah.
and Beat It, yeah. And I'm
Nails it.
sorry,
Nails
Eddie,
it.
but he nails that solo. It is fantastic.
I do like Fall Out Boy. It's
Well,
got-
I
it's
also
got
have to
some good
mention that
tracks,
they were on the collaborative album that they did for the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack.
Oh God!
And if
I
you've
forgot
never
about
heard
that.
their version of What If, or not What If, but What's This?
Oh, yeah,
Oh my God, I love it
forgot
better
all
than the
about
movie version. Absolutely do.
All right.
Sorry, Danny Elfman.
No, hey, it's all good, man.
So what's your next one you got for me?
Just
Well, we told you guys we were going to talk about this, and
so I'm going to show you what this is first.
Yeah.
This is the box that this came in, and if I rotate the box here, you're going to be able to see the Beatles. This was released. It's back. God, it's been 5 years now. I think it's on a USB drive.
this
and
is
that's
everything, right?
This is their entire discology. Yeah, this is
Discology?
Yeah,
Are we
but-
studying discology? It's a discography.
discography. I can't talk.
It's okay.
It's okay. And yes, the Beatles. And I know it's cliche, and he was laughing at me a little bit when he's like, "You really put the Beatles?" Yes, I really put the Beatles on my list, and it's because I mentioned Elvis Presley gets remade.
Mm-hmm.
No one has been remade, resampled, recreated more than the friggin' Beatles. Period.
I agree with that.
Period. You think rock and roll, you think Elvis Presley, but you also have to think the Beatles.
You do have to think the Beatles, and they were. I do feel it's horribly cliche. They were my honorable mention for this week because I couldn't justify putting them on my list because every music list of anything you see
always has the Beatles.
Who's number one?
I know.
The Beatles.
I know.
Oh, the Beatles. Rolling Stone.
know.
The Beatles. Yeah. But I love the Beatles. I do. I enjoy their music a lot. And not only, he was showing me what's on the Apple earlier. It's not just the...
No, it's movies.
There's videos and all sorts of stuff.
Some documentary stuff, all the books from the
artwork.
from the LPs. And I do say LPs because this was back in the day when things
when you
were
had
on,
EP, LP.
vinyl.
Because nobody buys vinyl anymore, right?
Yeah, it's nice to see that making a return. Actually, I like vinyl.
Hipsters. I'm going back to CDs and 8-tracks and tapes. Screw it.
Yeah, well, don't do that. But you get I think it's 320 kilobit MP3, which most people are like, ew.
That's great audio quality.
It's good audio,
Yeah.
but there's also lossless FLAC.
Yeah.
It's 2 copies of the entire
Nice.
catalog. So, and the 320 is great because they're not huge. You can put them on your iPod. So.
Well, so you gave me crap about you gave me a little crap about this band, and I'm okay with it. This is probably a very cliche thing for me to put on my list now that I'm thinking about it. Would be the Foo Fighters.
Hey, I like Dave Grohl though.
Dave Grohl, and I'm sorry,
kind of
if
the
you
man.
look at where rock music is and has been for the last 10 years, I guarantee you Dave Grohl's somewhere around there.
He's thrown a monkey wrench in there.
He has thrown a monkey
See what
wrench.
it did there?
That's,
See what it did there?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Hopefully he'll never get a pilot's license because I don't want to lose him like we have a lot of bands. I know that he could learn to fly, but I don't want him to.
Well,
But seriously, the Foo Fighters, again, that's another band has transcended completely from where they started sound-wise, and now he's off with Queens of the Stone Age as well, but still makes Foo Fighters. The man works all the time.
Tons. Yeah.
And apparently, here's a little tidbit for you about Dave Grohl. You will never see Dave Grohl without a cup of coffee. Ever. No, that is really true.
Yeah.
He will never see him without
well, it's
coffee.
because he works so damn much and needs caffeine.
That is correct.
Like
He does not sleep more than like 5 hours a night.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I agree. I'm a big Foo Fighters. I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan actually. And why I'm a big huge Foo Fighters
Why?
fan? 'Cause my honorable mention. He was the drummer of this little band.
Oh, I don't know if you heard about him. I don't know if you're
this
kind of
little
underground.
tiny '90s like
They weren't a big deal. They were only on like everything.
Nirvana. people.
Yeah.
We're talking about Nirvana. They were my honorable mention. So you mentioned your Beatles was yours, Nirvana was mine, and Dave Grohl's a lot of it. And actually, Dave Grohl, the Foo Fighters, wouldn't exist if it weren't for Nirvana.
Well, the Foo Fighters wouldn't exist if Kurt Cobain hadn't put a shotgun in his mouth, because they'd still be Nirvana. But I think I would take the
Touché.
Foo Fighters over Nirvana, just throwing it out there personally.
I'm not gonna fight either side of the argument because I love both those bands so damn much.
Okay, I mean,
Heart Shaped Box, Lithium.
if you want to talk Nirvana,
But I know you got Big Me.
I was just
Wheels.
going to talk about Unplugged. The Unplugged CD.
The Unplugged
in general.
album was amazing.
This is
Back when
absolutely-
MTV still sort of played music occasionally, and they did those Unplugged things.
They were amazing.
Oh man, they were awesome.
But Nirvana's the one that sticks out in my head that I've listened
Remember
to
the
that
LL
CD.
Cool J Unplugged?
Absolutely do.
That was
They
amazing.
had a guy in the background just there to play maracas.
Yeah, and the piano and stuff, and there was this Mama Said Knock You Out's got that big piano riff, and they were showing this behind the scenes of him, and he was like, "All right, stop the tape and rewind it." It's like, "There's no tape, dude. We're playing."
Yeah, it's-
but he just kept saying that because so it was good. I loved Unplugged. They
stuff.
should bring that back.
I don't think they ever will.
They should bring that back.
All right, so the Topsies of the Topsies. Even though there's no
There is no
orders,
particular order
but-
except this one. I waited till last on mine because this is my number one.
Okay.
And if you've been following me at all, even a
If
little
you know
bit,
anything about this guy,
you know that my absolute favorite artist of all time, without question, is none other than the lovely, talented, beautiful Biff Naked. And that's a CD. That's an actual, believe it or not, that's a friggin' compact disc. I know.
What are CDs?
What are discs? This is a CD. And it's been signed. And this one has 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 been signed.
We're just gonna fast forward
this
to
one
this,
has been
like,
signed.
and
this one has been signed. And oh wait, those three haven't been.
They
signed.
haven't been signed.
I know. I still gotta get her to sign those. Actually, and this is how much of a Biff Naked fan I am. This album, this is an EP. This is 4 songs and a poem. It's the first thing she ever released. You can't find this anywhere.
Okay.
There was like less than 1,000 of these things.
Well, I noticed that you're holding another copy of it, which also looks different.
Nope.
No?
This is her first LP.
Ah.
Self-titled Biff Naked track. Yes, it had the same cover on it. This was a single called My Whole Life. This was a fully spoken word. She does poetry.
Okay.
Ogun Spay Ordway. You got another 5 songs in a poem. So this EP came out, people were like, why is it called Another 5 Songs in a Poem? Because their first EP
first
was
album,
4 songs in a poem. Yeah. But the big thing is, this album right here,
As we
this
get
is
to it.
Super Beautiful Monster. I hold this one up because I have 2 of them.
Oh my. I guess we might be doing a thing.
We're about to do a thing. You're not getting this one
No, you're
because
not getting
this
a signed
one, this
copy. I
one's got a
already asked him.
Sharpie signed copy. But I'm going to give this one away.
All right. Well, we'll get to that here in a minute.
So we're going to talk about it in a
Yeah,
minute.
we're going to talk about that in a minute. So I will give you my last band.
All right.
It is a band who has transcended, as far as I'm concerned, you had your own punk band. I consider these guys to be a ska-y, punky, British, dirty, amazing band that they've got so many CDs. You want to talk about albums, EPs, LPs, they've got them. This band is the Arctic Monkeys, who recently just put out a brand new album, and as far as I'm concerned, is the epitome, and it is this year's best album. It's amazing. If you haven't checked it out, it is perfect. It's got its up moments, it's got its down moments, and it's got its flat line just feeling great. They are my top band of all time. And I got introduced to them actually back in 2006 when I was working at a call center. By accident, walked by somebody's desk. We had Pandora on,
That totally happens, dude.
and it was love at first listen. It was. I've never stopped listening to him since.
All right.
And you can spot that guy's voice from, I don't care what it is. That guy's
There's
just got a voice.
You know, like Ozzy Osbourne has that kind of voice.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, people. There are, Biff Naked for me has that voice.
Biff Naked has that voice. Steven Tyler has
Steve
that
Tyler
voice.
has a voice. And Angus Young's frontman for
Absolutely.
AC/DC. What's his name? The guy who sings. I feel bad.
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Send all your hate mail to So,
Don't put it to
God.
me.
I always think Angus Young when I think AC/DC because I love
Everybody
his guitar
think- yeah,
riffing.
everybody
but,
thinks.
oh my God, I forgot his name.
And it's gone. And it's gone.
But he's got an amazing voice too. It's very unique.
Yeah,
so.
I agree with that statement. So what are we gonna do with the CD?
So, and I wanted to mention there was another album that I don't have because it's 2014 nowadays, and
CDs are hard to come by.
and I can't find it. But she has another album called Forever Acoustic Hits and Other Delights. It's all acoustic versions of some stuff that was on some of these albums, plus
okay.
a couple new songs. It's also really amazing. And this, and I wanted to mention why. First of all, she's my favorite band or artist, and that's because of all these discs.
Nope, just knock it all down while you do
Flip the
it.
table. Of all these discs, there's not one song I don't like.
All right. That's actually a big deal considering how much music that is.
Yeah. This is hours and hours and hours of music, and I can't say that about any other artist. And that's why, for me, she's number one.
So I'm going to handle this thing that we're giving away.
This is a very good album. This is Super Beautiful Monster. This came out, I think, in 2005, if I remember. A couple of really good tracks I want to mention. There's a cover of a Metallica song, Nothing Else Matters.
Oh,
an
I love that
acoustic
song.
cover. She nails it. It sounds to me...
I actually listened to that in your car with
it's
you.
even better than Metallica's version, if you ask me. I'm just saying. Track 9 is called Henry. It's sort of a love song about Henry Rollins.
Okay.
It's kind of funny and goofy.
Yeah, go ahead and make fun of Henry Rollins on your own time because I don't want to get beat up.
No, dude, Henry's the man. Come on. So, but I want to give this away. And here's what we're going to do. We're asking you to like us. We're asking you to subscribe to us. When we get 500 likes on Facebook,
Okay.
I'm going to randomly select someone who I'm going to just basically put all the names in a hat, if you will. And you're going to win a copy of Super Beautiful Monster.
All right.
I will,
So we got to get to 500 likes.
So help us. Spread the word.
We
share
are at
this.
201 right now.
So you got to help get us out there. When we get to 500, you're going to get a copy of this album. You or somebody
I'll make you a deal.
All right.
If we get to 100 YouTube subscribers
Okay.
or 500 Facebook likes,
All right.
we'll do that.
Yeah. And whichever one's first.
Whichever one's first. How many ever months this takes, which would better not take months. You guys got to help us out here. You want us to keep making this stuff. You know, you want us to give away some more stuff. You gotta tell people.
If you don't know how this works, you open it like this.
You take that thing out.
You take this big weird disky thing out, and you stick it in your computer or your car.
If your car has one of those.
And you listen.
Yeah.
Or you do what I do, and you put the CD in your machine. You let iTunes rip it, and you throw it in your iPod.
That's right.
And you put this in a drawer somewhere. And then later on, when you see her in concert, you get her to sign it.
So that's the best stuff for this week. In fact, that's the whole week wrapped up.
So we're going to see you again next Monday.
Yep.
We're going to drop some more technology news. So everything that happened this week that we didn't cover, you're going to hear about it on Monday.
Yep. We're going to drop episodic content for you coming up.
Let us know.
Following weeks. Let us know if you like it.
Hit us up in the comments. Do you like the new format? Do you like the 5-day format? If you don't, tell us we're crazy. We want to hear that too. Give us a call at 480-STUPID-9. Send us an email, show@thatstupidpodcast.com. And send us your video questions.
Yeah, feel free to. We can probably manage to put a little screen up here
and you'll notice behind us we're no longer on a green screen. Last week's full length, the last full length episode.
We got lazy. We don't want to edit that crap anymore.
It's partly that, partly having some quality issues with the green screen. I've got some new lighting which is helping, and I have a lot of green neat nerdy shirts that I kind of want to wear. So. This is only temporary as well. I've commissioned through a local artist
to make us a nice backdrop.
So you'll hopefully see that in a few weeks. We're looking forward to it. And,
stick around, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and we won't have to ask you for money when we see you in the streets and beg for change or anything like that. Because don't make it weird.
Oh, and aren't we doing a live show soon or something?
Check us out at DragonCon. We'll be there for the whole event. We'll be there from Thursday to Sunday. We will be doing our live show there.
And if you're dressing up as anything, see me. I will be doing photography while I'm down there as well.
We'll be doing photography. We'll also be posting stuff up for that because the week after we get back from DragonCon.
All that photography, a little cross-promotion, if you will. One of our partner companies, if you will, Geek Insider, has started a new cosplay section of their website. And I'll be pushing all of the DragonCon photos over to their website.
There it is.
So you'll be able to find yourself online. You'll be internet famous in no time.
Absolutely. Make sure to check us out next week. Until then,
that's it.
Deuces.